1. The Maori people of New Zealand traded with the British. In return for guns and medals, the Maori people traded produce, canoes, medicines, and artifacts. After World War I, New Zealand went under a Great Depression. The gross domestic product is thought to have only been 75% of capacity in the year 1932, and the unemployment rate may have been over 20%. As the world economy entered a major recession in 2008, New Zealand was once more confronted with the fact that its success depended on activities offshore over which it had little control. In that respect, things had hardly changed over 200 years.
New Zealand's exports are sheep, goats, milk, rough wood.
New Zealand's economy is very dependent on dairy products. This is one of their main exports. This past year, dairy prices fell, like this. New Zealand's economy is also based on tourism. Tourists come from all over the world, but especially from the US, Australia, and China. New Zealand's GDP growth rate is an average of 2.5%. The US dollar is equal to 1.5 New Zealand dollars, meaning the US dollar is worth more. New Zealand exports more than they import, at $40.1 billion in exports and $38.6 billion in imports. Exports are 30% of New Zealand's GDP, which is approximately $185 billion.
One fund you should invest in is Mighty River Power Limited. Mighty River Power Limited generates about 70% of New Zealand's electricity. More than 90% of its electricity production is from renewable resources. It's the 9 hydro stations on the Waikato River, 5 geothermal power stations in Central North Island, and a multi-unit gas-fired station in Auckland. Another fund that should be invested in is TGG. The business was started as a fruit and flower shop by Edward Turner in 1897. He was later joined by 9 sons, and the business grew to become E. Turner and Sons Limited. Main profit contribution came from strong trading results in North America and berries, citrus, and stone fruit.
Made in New Zealand, put together in a Kiwi factory.
In conclusion, New Zealand is a country which is self-sustainable in power and in food resources. So you should invest in New Zealand.